Hey guys, what's up? My name's Kayla from Planning with Kay, and welcome to another video. I know that school just recently started back up again for all of you students out there, so I thought I'd make another video all about some useful tips and spreads to use in your bullet journal this semester. Even though I'm no longer a student since graduating in May, I definitely learned a ton in my 4 years of college, and I feel like I have a lot of advice to give that might help any of you who are in school now. So in this video, I'm just going to go over some useful spreads for keeping track of everything school related, how I set them up, and show you how I use them. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into it. My first tip is to keep all of the important information related to your classes in your journal. Things like your schedule, professor contact information, office hours, locations, class websites. These are all things that are available on things like your syllabus or online, but I find it saves a ton of time to just copy down all of this information into the same place right into your journal. So that way you don't have to go shuffling through a bunch of papers or websites to go searching for any of it. So I'm starting off with this class information page. For all of these spreads, I'm going to set up what it would look like for 1 or 2 classes, but obviously if you're setting these up for yourself, you would go ahead and do it for every class you have. So this class information page is basically going to have every piece of important information that you will probably need to reference during the semester. For me, this was always my professor's information, like their name, email, office location, and office hours. And the same for the TA, or at my school they were called GSIs, to stand for Graduate Student Instructor. Having this meant that if I ever needed to contact a professor or TA or go meet with them, I could come back to this page and see exactly where their office is, what email I should send my question to, or what time they would be available for office hours rather than digging online to try and find all that information. I also would include general schedule information, so the time and location of my classes. Finally, I'd include a section for resources, so things like the course website, textbooks, and anything else you may need to reference. Next, I have this weekly schedule, which just is a visual schedule of all of my classes. The point of this is so that it should be super easy to glance at and see exactly what classes you have on a given day. So I like to color code mine, giving each class a different color so that it's as clear as possible. I also recommend doing this in pencil for the first couple weeks of school or using post-it notes, just in case your schedule ends up changing in the beginning of the semester, as for me, often happened. Okay, so now that you have all of the important information for your semester in your journal, it's time to focus on all of the tests, quizzes, projects, assignments, finals, and all the other billion things that you have to do for your classes. I recommend utilizing 2 different spreads to keep track of everything, which is your semester at a glance and your assignment tracker. The semester at a glance spread is meant to provide a quick overview of your semester. I've done this one with these mini calendars for each month. Again, I'm only showing you for 2 months, but you should set up for your entire semester or quarter or however long your classes go for. Now, I don't write everything down here. My rule of thumb would be to just write down things that you might count down to. So like 4 weeks until spring break or 47 days until finals. Things like holidays, finals, midterms, large project deadlines, basically all of the big stuff. You want to write down anything that you feel like you need to keep an eye on and have an idea of how far away it is. Then your assignment tracker is going to keep track of everything else. So everything that has a due date. All of your homeworks, quizzes, tests, papers, projects, reading deadlines, every single thing that you have to turn in or complete for your classes is going to go here. I find the best layout is a single page list style for each month, so you can write down everything in its due date. I also include a column here where I can mark down once I've scheduled that assignment later in my journal. So next, I'll show you how I use all of these spreads and how they come together when you're actually planning later in the semester. So I'm going to do a kind of mock weekly and some little mock dailies here to show you the general workflow. So in my weekly, I might put a section for things that are due that week. Again, just to make sure that I'm not missing any assignments or deadlines. With these things, I would always rather be redundant and write down things multiple times rather than forget because I only wrote it down in one place and I forgot to check there. You know, all that stuff that happens that causes you to miss an assignment just eliminate that as much as possible and write things down several times in different places so that you're sure to see it. So I go to the semester at a glance as well as my assignment tracker, and I write down anything written there for that week, and then I'll check it off that it's been scheduled. I'll also be sure to see if I need to study for anything that week, and I'll include that as well. Then for my dailies, I like to include a time bar for school where I note down my classes from my schedule page, and also any meetings or other plans that I know I have scheduled for a day. I'd then look back at my weekly page and I'd write down any of the due dates I have or anything else that's written down for that day. It's always good to look at the rest of the week as well, just in case you want to study for an upcoming test or quiz, or just prepare ahead of time for something that's later in the week. So by the way, all of these stickers that I'm using are available on my shop in my new student kit that I've released. I'll talk more about that later, so be sure to stick around to the end of the video, or just go ahead and click the link in the description to check out the listings in my shop. The next spread is not super vital, but it's something that I wish I had done when I was in school, just to make life a little bit easier and to have a better idea of how I'm doing in my classes, and that's my grades tracker. The idea here is that you have a place for each class where you can write down every single grade that you receive on your assignment. I know a lot of my classes posted grades online, but I also had a lot of teachers who were really bad about submitting the grades and posting them where I could see them. So there were times where I had classes where I felt like I had no idea of how I was doing in the class because there was no way for me to see all of the marks for that semester. So this is just a good way to keep track of that for yourself and have a log of every grade that you get back for your own reference, as well as the grade breakdown for every class. This will also come in handy right before finals when you're freaking out wondering what percent you need to get on your exam to get a B or an A in the class, so you can reference all of your grades here and easily do the calculations. Finally, my last tip is to give any large projects, papers, or exams their own spread or page in your journal. The word large can mean whatever you want it to, but I'd probably classify it as anything that counts for more than like 20% of your grade, like a final, or anything that lasts longer than a month, like a final project or a huge research paper. I would give all of these things their own spread, like this one here, to keep track of dates, details, and tasks for that project specifically. So here's an example of perhaps a large research paper that spans 2 months or so. I include a kind of at-a-glance calendar setup for all of the important deadlines for the paper. These would be things like draft due dates, check-ins with your professor perhaps, whatever you find is appropriate for that particular project or anything that's listed on the syllabus. I would also include a running task list where you can keep track separately of everything that you need to do for that project, or in this case for this research paper, step by step. You know, when you have a lot going on with different classes, I find that it can be a little difficult to focus in on a particularly large project and keep track of what the next step is or what task you should focus on at the time to complete that project. So this is just an easy place to go to and see what's next on the list. I'd also include a schedule section to kind of outline what your game plan is to get it done. For example, if here you have 6 weeks to do this research paper, you might outline how long you plan to do research for, how long until you'll be done with the first draft, how long you're going to revise for, etc., etc. This page is also highly customizable. For example, my senior year, I had 3 semester-long final group design projects that I had to do. So for that, I might have included a section for meeting times since I was meeting with my groups every week. Just put whatever you think makes sense for your particular project. And those are all of the spreads I'm showing you in this video. They all kind of focus on just being prepared and making sure that you're keeping track of everything you need to do for school. I know personally before I started bullet journaling, school could just be really overwhelming when I had 5 classes to keep track of, a never-ending list of due dates, and things were always falling through the cracks. So these spreads focus on making life as easy as possible by making sure your journal is keeping track of things for you, so that way you can focus on getting things done rather than trying to figure out what needs to get done, if that makes sense. So I created a Student Essentials sticker kit for you guys in my shop that has all of the stickers you saw here plus a ton more. The kit itself comes with almost 100 stickers to help you set up your spreads for school, and if you just want a single sheet of Student Essentials, I also have that available. Check out the link in my description to go check those out, and for 1 week you can use the code STUDENT15 to get 15% off your entire order. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and hope it helps you out this semester. If you liked it, definitely hit that like button down below, and also let me know what video you want to see next in the comments below. As usual, the link to my sticker shop is in the description, so check that out to shop for all of the stickers you saw here plus a ton more. Follow me on Instagram at planningwithk if you're not already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!